All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Attack on Titan, Season 3, Episode 21.
Oh my god, Jacob.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Jacob, we left off the last episode in a major cliffhanger.
More like a ship hanger.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that the big thing though is that the big twist is not actually that crazy of a twist. It's something that, oh, that's how Grisha gets a Titan. That's how he gets the ability to even survive this whole thing, is that the owl is going to basically give him his mission. The owl is going to basically be like, here's my abilities and stuff. Here's, what you're going to need to do. And that's going to be important because on some level we're going to find out, like, will they go a good chunk of the way there, and on the way he'll tell him all kinds of stuff with Grisha on his shoulder or something.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Is there going to be a thing that they'll do before they leave? Like, is there more stuff that's going to happen in between then and there? Like, what kind of stuff will Grisha need to know, maybe even more than he does right now? Because one of the things that was interesting from the previous episode, and I put decent amount of emphasis but on rewatching and studying the previous episode, Grisha isn't 100% sure about the restorationist view on history. In fact, I think that's one of the points they're bringing up, is that neither side has a perfect view of history.
Since it was 2,000 years ago.
Well, because it was over a long period of time. It wasn't that the event, the whole Grisha, not the whole Grisha, but the whole Ymir Fritz and Devil of the Earth thing, is whether or not that happened. That's a mythic event in and of itself. But what part both races played in the whole racial war.
Yeah, the devil's in the details, and the details are a bit fuzzy.
Very fuzzy.
Yeah.
And there's a specific thing called into it in that he hasn't translated too much of the text, and he simply believes things to be this way because of the way certain things are basically painted in the imagery. So crazy stuff that can still be revealed. Going forward here, we have all kinds of stuff regarding the potential of revealing Zeke's whole potential thing that he's got going on here.
The world's gotten a whole lot bigger.
Yeah,
so the ammunition that they have to deal with just skyrocketed. Right.
Basically, once they finished up everything with Grisha, it's basically just where do they want to focus on now. So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, we're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now.
Oh, yeah. Because we want to see this once more.
Oh, yeah. Oh! Like fruit being juiced. Oh! Wow.
That's right, that hadn't actually happened in the previous episode.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow. Oh, cool. So they're confirming that this is pretty much an real world AU.
Right.
Meaning that
to you 2,000 years in the future.
Yeah. Right. Uh-huh. Oh. Zeke.
Now the opening almost feels off because
well this is where things were starting, and I'd say you wouldn't want to show really anything from the whole Marley Eldian thing in the OP.
Not. That would have been just unforgivable.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Oh boy.
We've had so much happen in terms of big kind of character, crazy changes and stuff.
There's a part of me that still sees Chica dancing, though.
Right. It's interesting, though, because they did show the Ymir Fritz and Devil of All Earth little little exchange moment thing happening in a flash. Like that was one of the flashes shown, and it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
oh, that would have been, something to analyze as well if I was Attack Titan. Attack on Titan.
No, just Attack Titan.
So yeah, that was a thing.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wow, he named his kid
After this guy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Obviously, he's an owl. Yeah. Whoa. Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's gorgeous.
Oh, boy.
Oh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. He's like, I'm tired, man. This has been a long fight. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He'd have to.
Yep.
But it's a good point. Why not here? Oh. Oh. Is he doubting? Is he doubting?
Well,
Why not himself? Because he's doubting? That would make sense if he's not able to be resolved in his belief
sure,
about
like
this.
his conscience is killing him from the inside, kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, come on. So the guy that was sent when he was a doctor was part of the whole recruitment process? Oh. Oh. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And thus the cycle continues.
Yep.
Jeez. Perspective.
The world the boy saw.
Mm. He very deftly sidestepped the question of why he didn't save everyone else here. Yep. We gotta do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Wow. Yeah, why aren't you doing it? Wait, what?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
That is crazy!
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
That's convenient. Well, yeah, it's the original bloodline. It's all connected back to her. Whoa. Wow.
That what Ymir saw in the sky?
Wow.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Then why? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, definitely. Wow, I'm still just reeling from the reveal of 13 years.
Uh-huh. Yep. Only 13 years.
Oh. And the worst of this is Zeke. Like, Zeke should be on his way out anytime soon. Like very soon.
But the 13-year time limit, you know, helps explain why it takes a while.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, Grisha!
Yep.
Yeah. Ugh. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, this part of him is the thing that's going to be born in Eren before even Eren
Right.
becomes a
Yep.
Titan.
Yep. And
It's
Grisha
the-
looks so much like Eren in
Oh,
those
it's
shots.
intentional. That's
Yeah.
intentional. You can see
Yep.
it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow, that's meta, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it, y'all? That's
Yeah.
so freaking meta.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, and yours is the attack Titan.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Yep. As the show. Roll credits.
Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Huh. Oh my gosh. Ha!
Because it's still 4 months since they became soldiers.
Yeah, screw that. Let's go. Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep.
Oh, Mikasa. She's depressed because of his time limit. Oh.
Yeah. 8 years left.
Oh. Okay. So we're getting everyone basically appraised of what's going on. Or
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Saying that to Historia.
Wait.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Yeah, so she's probably dead by now. Yeah. They probably did this in Shiganshina, actually. Oh. Whoa! No way!
Yeah.
Dang, that's so awesome!
Nice.
They actually called back to it. That's so good. Oh, yeah, she's dead. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew Ymir was dead, but
She deserved better.
yeah. Wow, you're so specific, John. Like, oh, I just realized Historia is wearing a military uniform.
Sure.
Oh, that tear. That very, very subtle tear. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh. Acting. Yeah. Yep. Ha! Wait. Has she been disbanded from the military for her?
She's recovering.
Yes. Wow. Good grief, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Scout Regiment Commander Hanji Zoe.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh.
Great win, great loss.
Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The world. I mean,
Warudo.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Oh, once again driven to sin. Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Basically, it's the nuclear deterrent.
Yeah, no one presses the button. No
Yeah.
one dies. Whoa. But now that you've done it,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know that. It's a renouncing of war, but how is that humanity's downfall necessarily? Yes. Through a fluke. Yeah. That electric juice of something just...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you were connected to...
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The paths were connected. Yep. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Aaron.
Please continue. Our Titan. Wow. Oh, buddy. This is just wearing on him so much. He's that age, I guess. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm not sure that they're gonna be good with Historia being this way, even without that knowledge, Aaron. Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god! Oh.
Oh boy.
No. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
No, that means that. That means that. Guys, that. Okay, so if you don't know why I'm crying here, the reason for that is that there's a reason why that guy, the owl, Kruger, said that.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it means one of two things. It means one of two things. But either one ends with Eren being dead.
Yeah.
Because what that means is what we've learned with the idea of the paths and the flowing of memories and thoughts through the coordinate and stuff is that on some level Eren either finds a way to control the founding titan and basically be able to send those memories beyond, but if he does that, that's going to take an inordinate amount of time and he'll eventually die.
He's only got 8 years left.
Because basically he's feeding that message to you 2,000 years in the future. Like, you guys realize what this all means, right?
Well,
we've now got confirmation, basically, because they've tied it in multiple times with when Eren basically wakes up having his memories and him crying. In the beginning of the first episode was him understanding that on some level he is being given the mission to save everyone.
Right.
And he has to save everyone.
Yeah.
But him basically passing this on through to Grisha also means that there's the potential thing that he failed. And if he failed, that means he had to pass on the founding titan's powers to someone that could give this memory. And that means that memory is probably someone that knew Mikasa and Armin. So Eren had to have a friend, someone that he loved, someone that he cared about, carry on the fight. And the thing is, we've basically then been told the ending of Attack on Titan with this cliffhanger here. It doesn't really matter how it goes. On some level, the founding titan will get passed on, regardless of whether or not Eren saves, the world or everything.
Right.
And Eren's going to die. I mean, we already know that because of the whole 13 years thing, and him having 8 years seems like, oh, okay, that's a long time from now, right? Like, that's
but it's
a long
not,
time, but it's not.
Yeah, it's 22,
he's
23, 23
be 23 years old.
Yep.
He's not even going to have basically a life. He might he might have time to have a kid.
Right. Yeah.
But will that kid ever know him? No.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Might have the most vague of memory, or basically lose those memories by the time it turns like 12 or something.
Sure. Well, and that's I applaud you for getting all of that out of this scene, because when I read this scene in the manga, my exact response involved a lot more like swearing and just staring at the ceiling and like, just wait, hold on a second.
I can't imagine what it must have been like in the manga, but on some level the anime repeats things so much that
it built up to this a lot more. So it wasn't as much of a bombshell.
No, it's a bombshell, but it's more of a thing of like, I can't look at this and be happy, though. Because the only way someone gives that kind of a memory passed down, in my opinion, is when
Mm-hmm. Well, and then there's the whole thing of the owl being called Aaron Kruger. If the memories can go back to multiple iterations, through time, basically.
Yeah, it wouldn't have stopped with Aaron. It would have gone back as far as possible.
Right.
And in some ways, they're kind of telling us already how things are going to go with regards to this, because I think on some level, Historia is the actual person that's going to save everything. That Aaron is going to have to eventually let her eat him at the final part of his time. Now, will this story go for 8 years, Jacob? Like, are we missing some kind of huge time skip or something? Because I don't think the Attack on Titan anime could survive 8 years of in-universe time if 4 months was 3 seasons.
Right. I mean, they did have the time skips of them growing up, to join the military and whatnot. But but it's been pretty much rip-rolling since then. Well, okay. We know that at the very least there's a short time skip because we have the scene from the beginning of season 3 where Aaron is at the ocean and his hair's a bit longer.
That could take 4 months.
That could take 4 months.
That could take the same amount of time it took for all these all this conflict to happen.
So,
in fact, it probably wouldn't take that much time because of the fact that they'd have 1, potentially 2 Titans to escort a group of people.
Yeah.
I think the more accurate thing is, if they're going out to the sea, are they going out to the sea to scout, or are they going out to sea with an army?
Right.
And if they go out to sea with an army, then that takes time to field it.
Yep.
And on some level, I don't think they're going to be given that much time by Marley, because if we think about Marley as a civilization, and their agents failed multiple times, and they now know that they've lost a key asset, this is when they basically respond with full-on,
all the force they can
bombs
muster.
And fighters and the last we left off with the Marleyans basically was decades ago, at the very least a decade ago.
Right.
It could potentially be just a small amount of time with regards
to 15 years ago.
Yeah, you just extrapolate Aaron's age basically.
Right.
And that's what you have. But you time skip their technological advances ahead that much time. And if you think about the technological advances that happened in the 20th century and how fast things moved. And basically this is just a society that the only difference between them and ours is that on some level they've got a war out there that they are kind of passively fighting, but it doesn't hinder technological advances that much, or it doesn't seem
the
to.
Marleyans are pretty much have a handle on things because Titans.
Yeah, but they also want not just the founding Titan here. They want the fossil fuels and stuff like that. So maybe on some level this is a thing of where, hey, we expand or we die. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
Also, they have to find some way to keep the Eldian the Marleyan warriors who aren't Marleyans.
Right, the honorary Marleyans.
Yeah, they have to keep them busy. Don't want them sitting at home thinking.
Sure.
I mean, maybe on some level they have enough self-hatred and hatred towards their own people that they don't have to worry about that.
Although at the same time, because they've lost several Titans now, with Annie and now Bertolt and stuff, it's like they really can't afford to not be busy. Whatever Titans are back home are probably, work around the clock to make sure that basically they make up for the fact that some of them are on a different mission.
But if I was Marley right now, I would basically prepare for an attack and then send basically a military scout form of some kind.
Battleships and
no, I'm talking a high altitude scouting flight aircraft.
Just send some planes over.
Yes, with you could even have an observatory balloon.
Sure,
it would barely be a speck in the sky, and you basically just fly over. You'd have telescopes and things inside it, and you'd just look and see what's going on.
Sure, yeah,
and you wouldn't.
Well, and
you wouldn't have much issues there. like it'd be pretty quick.
Right.
If anything, you might have some worries about fuel and getting back and stuff like that. But,
sure. Because we don't know if they have, like, doesn't seem like they're at the technology of, like, aircraft carriers,
No, but they're probably at the level of technology where they could have battleships and basically World War II or late World War I technology.
Yeah.
I would say 1930s to 1940s technology.
Right, which is about when
probable.
And that's when you start getting into the scary stuff.
Well, that's when we started getting into the scary stuff. Now, on some level, humanity as a whole looked for some kind of crazy solution like the atomic bomb.
Right.
Because of the times.
Right, because there wasn't something like that and because of the times, right? Whereas now, because Titans exist, people probably aren't thinking that they need something like an atomic bomb. They,
If anything, the more horrifying thing is that they think they need something that is still potentially their equivalent of a "don't make us press this button," though. And if they're basically, problem is that's their end problem. That's what the Marlians are constantly thinking about. A nuke is not that far off then necessarily.
And that would be the fast way to deal with the Eldians too. You just have a few planes fly overhead.
Yeah, first strike, just...
Yep, nuke each one of the cities,
Well, I mean, one city.
Sure. Yeah.
There's only one...
Well, no, but...
Eldian,
No, I know, but with the walls and everything... With the walls and everything...
Oh, you think it would take more than one?
Well, I mean, if you got something like the what was that Russian super nuke that was made, but yeah,
no, I don't think it would take more than one, because part of the issue with the whole thing here is that it's not actually a bunch of Titans they're trying to kill. Like, they don't care really what happens to those Titans.
It's the humans.
They just need to get rid of the founding Titan. They just need to find that.
Yeah, and then once they do that, then suddenly the founding Titan is going to be in some random kid that's going to be born somewhere else.
And they don't care about that.
And that gives them enough time to basically storm the place. And
they can take over Paradise and do the whole thing themselves.
Yep.
Now, here's the thing. The other thing that revealed this episode was the whole idea of why the founding Titan has another name, the Coordinate. The Coordinate is not the founding Titan.
Nope.
The Coordinate is the beacon by which all the paths of Eldians that have the power of the Titans basically connect to, or not even
all the descendants of Ymir.
Regular descendants of Ymir. This is something that I don't know why you were so negative against, Jacob, but that I think they are basically saying that all Eldians are descendants of Ymir. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying here.
Okay. As someone who has read the manga, I mean,
why is it?
I could be wrong.
Why is it why is it a thing that I can't at least think, though?
Hey, feel free to think that.
Do you have
feel free.
Do you have info, or based on what we've seen thus far, that directly contradicts that?
Who's the royal family?
Who's the royal family?
Yep.
I don't know.
Needs to be a separate bloodline for that.
Ooh.
But anyways, so with this episode,
why is the royal bloodline needing to be separate? If anything, all the royal bloodline needs to be is potentially just the original descendants of the one that split from Ymir and became the founding Titan. Because there's 9 Titans, right? One of them is the founding Titan.
Okay.
So descendants of that Titan, the founding Titan, which is not Ymir,
okay,
could be the royal bloodline. There you go. Boom. Solved.
Okay.
So then everyone else could be a descendant of...
Okay, sure.
Because on some level, let's think about it this way. Eldians aren't humans. Like, they're not humans.
Yeah, they're they're humans that have been touched by whatever demonic power or whatever it was that.
But they are not humans anymore. Every single one has the capacity to turn into Titans to the point to where they actually have a biological thing that's different about them.
Right.
They can. They literally confirmed it in this episode. You can look up the blood of an Eldian and tell that it's an Eldian and not a Marleyan. That is not a human thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you looked at one human versus another, you could tell like maybe some things about their DNA and stuff like that. But
yeah, once you got into like genetics and stuff like that, then you could probably tell. But
looking at their technology, we
don't have genetics.
We're not at that level all the way yet. But there probably is some kind of marker, some kind of difference in the blood that shows that there's basically a thing that makes them, Eldians or subjects of the Ymir.
Like maybe it's in the spinal fluid, since that's the stuff from the Titans.
But they didn't say it was the spinal fluid. They say it was the blood. What about the blood checks that they do?
Yeah.
So it's something even more basic than that. You don't need to do some crazy surgery like draw spinal fluid from or bone marrow or anything like that. Which means also that there's nothing physiologically with their like their looks or their anything like that makes them be designated as Eldians. Like that's something that's very, very important to keep in mind here, because when things like this happened in the past and we had, racial, just craziness happening with the whole Holocaust and everything like that.
Yeah.
There were things that they did to like inspect people. Like on a physiological level, to be like, oh, are you a Jew? Like, do you have these like specific traits or what have you? And it was like, even if they weren't like necessarily accurate and stuff, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I'm certain that there were people probably brought in through that whole thing that weren't necessarily even,
Sure. Or maybe it was something where like, one of their like relatives, like basically like one of their parents or their grandparents was, or something like that. And then they find out family records or something.
It was genocide basically.
Going
as loose as possible. But here they have a definite thing that basically is we basically just look at the blood and we know.
Sure. Even if it's, maybe something that doctors have to specifically learn to do or something like that. But but
still that's all it would take.
Right. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Big issue that I see coming up here though is not just the timeline of things basically pushing us to rush things, basically the whole Island of Paradise basically feeling frantic because they have to.
Right, the Marleyans are probably going to come back soon, and there's the fact that Eren only has 8 years left.
And I don't think they can afford to even like try to find basically more Titan fluid that they can then extract, because they don't have the means of creating that. That's not something they can do. Like that's literally, they know what it is, essentially now. But just because they know what it is doesn't mean that they can actually, do anything with it. Like the idea that basically the people in Paradise here, they know, okay, it's Titan spinal fluid specifically. Right. Cool. How do we actually get Titan spinal fluid?
Right. We need to get it. We need to harvest it. We need to keep it from coming into contact with air so it doesn't vaporize.
Yeah. So we can't have a mission going to Marley be about find some Titan fluid.
Well, yeah. I
that's not worth it.
If anything, it might be something where it's like at most it would be, we need to find a way to find the technology that they use to harvest the Titan spinal fluid, but that would be about it. Yeah. Basically what it boils down to is humanity, or specifically now, not humanity, the Eldians, Eren and his group, they have a limited amount of time to do what they're going to do. And 8 years is not a long time for national conflict.
No.
Not at all.
No. Because on some level, they're not even ready for any kind of national conflict.
Oh, not at all. No.
They literally just solidified themselves as a nation. And now I understand in a lot of ways why they had the political stuff in the first half of Season 3. It's basically saying, hey, can we stabilize the political situation here.
So we have a foundation.
And simplify the story here so that we don't have as much intrigue, infighting, craziness and stuff, so that when the conflict goes outward,
it's us versus them as opposed to...
real outward way. The fight is not about, they don't need to worry about
a Titan and whatnot.
Or anything like that.
Right.
If anything, that's something that we'll have to figure out a way to do here is how do you have the story with this conflict between Eldians and Marleyans be something where we actually know anything more in this way from the Marleyans. Because until they attack, basically, they have no more way of gathering info. So either we as the audience are going to have some kind of third-person omniscient perspective that things shift to.
Which they could totally do since they have Aaron or Reiner and Zeke going back.
Yeah, and they've done that on a minor note, though. They've done that in a minor way.
Right.
Which is something I think that would be cool.
It's just to have Aaron start dredging up more memories and...
No, I'm saying that I think on some level you can't just abuse the Aaron dredging up more memories mechanic.
Because that's too much telling rather than showing.
It's too much telling. It's something that almost doesn't make sense to use anymore. Like, on some level, Aaron should be thinking about the future, the present, what he's going to do here.
Yeah.
Dredging up more things from the past would have to directly involve Grisha, and you'd have to, on some level, explain in the story why we didn't see it, in this whole thing here. Because basically, this whole event was the Aaron dredges up all the necessary relevant memories to the point where we, the audience, get to see freaking Kruger giving the "you need to do this so that you can save Mikasa and Armin." Who are Mikasa and Armin?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let them scratch their heads over that one for a while. Like that one might even stump Armin a little bit. Like
on some level, I'm not sure that, because of the way they framed this, I'm not sure Aaron even remembers that.
Oh, like that might have just been for the audience?
That's just for the audience. Because here's something that I think is big here.
Time travel, baby.
Well, part of this I think is just a linear thing. Aaron hasn't done it yet.
Done what yet?
Aaron hasn't given Grisha basically that message yet.
Yeah.
In his thing yet. So on some level, the path hasn't had a reason to bring it all the way back to him yet.
Well, okay. Well, that's what still blows my mind about this whole bit right here, because this I haven't gotten anything else really on this.
Okay,
is that they're talking about saving people that haven't been born yet, so that means that Aaron is able to send memories and messages into the past.
Yep,
which is kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a problem story-wise because you invoke basically time travel. But here's the thing. If you assume that on some level there is a flow to this with regards to why memories come up at certain points in time, then they are basically setting up the why am I remembering this now for Aaron in the future where he gets more memories from the past that are, only relevant in the future.
Because if you can send... and it'd be tough to... it'd be interesting to see how they make memories from the past relevant in the future. Memories in the future relevant in the past, definitely. And one of the things that I think is really cool about this is because you could have multiple futures sending memories to the past. Because sending memories to the past should theoretically make it so that you can change the future, which means that the future that originally sent those memories doesn't exist anymore. So the thing of showing all of them dead in season 1, right? And that was originally the ending, for Attack on Titan. That ending could have happened in one of the potential, futures, world lines, whatever, right?
Where Aaron basically didn't,
and then that was just sent back, right? As a way of stop this from happening, and then somewhere along the way, butterfly effect, however you want to call it, something happened that changed that.
Right.
But
now the first episode was called "To You 2,000 Years in the Future," not the past, right? It's "To You 2,000 Years in the Future," right? Right. So essentially, what it is a moment in the story will happen where Aaron connects basically with the original Ymir Fritz.
Yeah, probably.
With the powers of the founding Titan. And it doesn't have to be Eren. That's the thing that's really sad about this,
it could be anybody.
Is they're basically just saying it doesn't actually matter. But if you hear that message, y'all, you know it's Eren.
Right.
Like, you know it's Eren.
Like it's got to be, right?
Well, no, it's... You know it's Eren. Because here's the thing. Even if it's something where it's not actually Eren trying to say that specific memory, you know, like that thing to Kruger, or to make sure that Grisha hears it.
Right.
That moment could have been the exact moment that Eren gives up his ability to
the next person
who probably has the ability to use the founding Titan fully.
Sure.
And they just remembered Eren saying that after they transformed. So this is like at that moment Eren just died. That's basically what this reminds me of also, is because
I like the idea.
You see what they did with Ymir and Historia here?
Oh yeah. Death off screen with a last, love letter. And...
Well, you could say what it is that there was a memory that was passed along to the future from the past via not just the letter, but the contact made that Historia did with the letter.
Right.
So think about it. The letter was written in the past, right? So it is literally a message from the past sent to the future. But that's just a regular letter.
Right. That happens all the time.
That happens all the time.
The thing that's different is when you get things that go in reverse.
Right.
Right.
But what I think is important there is that if you consider the whole thing being a message from the past to the future, when Historia touches the letter, she sees Ymir's death.
Right.
She sees that Ymir has died. So in some ways, it's not that Ymir necessarily died recently. It just means that it was a point in the past.
Right.
It could be 10 seconds ago. It could have been, 100 days ago.
Right. But sending... I'm not entirely sure what the whole sending memories to the future is supposed to do.
I'm not talking about sending memories to the future. I'm saying that it's a message from the past to the future.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Traveling at the rate of regular time.
Right. So in a way, it is sending a memory to the future. The message is to you 2,000 years in the future.
Okay, all right.
If you give a message to someone in the past who has this direct connect memory sharing thing through infinite lives all the way up to the present, then essentially you send the message to yourself.
So you're saying this all does boil down to the message?
Yes, essentially, and it's a time loop.
Right, definitely. Whoa, wait. Okay. Yes.
Now, what you're saying is correct in that if we assume that they go with the level of time travel in that once someone changes the future, that future is destroyed, it no longer exists, meaning that it still is there, but the message in the past is basically the only thing that remains from that future.
Right. For all intensive purposes, it almost doesn't really matter unless you're...
It doesn't really. You're right. Well,
considering that we don't have Eren constantly getting bombarded with message from all the potential future Erens.
Right. Because all the messages have been sent, or none of them have been sent. Because those futures don't exist yet.
Well, right, but it breaks those rules by being able to send messages back in time anyways.
Right. Right. So either all of them have already been sent, or none of them have been sent.
Right.
That's why I'm jumping ahead a few steps. I have a lot of shows under my belt where I've seen time travel and stuff, so I kind of know how this works, and I know you do as well. I just sometimes don't process out my thoughts with how it applies to specific things in front of me because that's going on in my head.
Yeah. I love the idea of the to you 2,000 years in the future being something along the lines of the paths and everything, because coordinate and whatnot. And
it totally is though.
And the thing of Eren eventually having some contact with the original Ymir. We absolutely need to see.
It's going to happen.
We need to see that.
It's guaranteed to happen. because the connection is already there. We now know that that's where this all leads back to. This whole thing, if we go with the idea of everything being connected via the Founding Titan, then that means that the Founding Titan is the connected thing to whatever is the beyond, the extra, the only thing that allows this to be possible.
Right, the origin of all life or matter or whatever it was they said, yeah.
And the origin point for the Founding Titan is Ymir.
Yep.
And the Devil of All Earth, which is basically a stand-in for just whatever happened. Yeah. It doesn't really matter anything about that, so I don't make theories about that. But
that's where they can go into the Ava stuff hardcore.
Oh, well, they will. They definitely will.
Yep.
Do you think, though, that it's going to be a thing of where... I don't know if you can even give this theory and stuff, but do you think it's going to be a thing of where Eren will pass on the Founding Titan, and he won't be the final, key to saving the world, or do you think he will do it himself?
I think he'll do it himself.
You think he'll do it himself?
Yeah, because he's the main character, so it makes sense that the story would start. Even though Grisha started the story, as they said, in a very meta way, since the story is focused around Eren, I think he's going to be the one to finish it. Okay. Even if he maybe he dies a little bit before the end, kind of a thing. It's not going to be about how the person he passes it on to ends up saving the world.
Right. If anything, they might do the final push. But
right. And then
Eren made the journey.
Right. And I could definitely, if they did do something like that, I could definitely see it being sort of a let our powers combine, bringing up all the memories and all the lives of the people that have come before and whatnot.
Watch it be Annie, and Annie's whole fusion thing from the beginning was, the end of season 1 was actually foreshadowing for that eventual event. Because I was thinking about that whole specific thing there, and one of the ideas I kind of thought from this, and I don't know if we talked about this, but because we talked so much about Attack on Titan outside the camera and on camera, that was him basically taking some aspects of her powers or what have you,
or at the very least, doing some Founding Titan type stuff to cause that to happen, something that wouldn't normally happen.
But why was he able to use Founding Titan stuff there?
Oh, like Annie's royal
blood, yeah. And she's literally crystallized for future plot use.
Well, crystallized.
Oh, I didn't even see that. That's hilarious. But I'm just putting it out there.
Well, and she does follow the whole pale blonde hair and whatnot. So they could definitely do that. You heard it here first, unless it's already been in a theory for a long time, in which case that's not my fault. I'm not in on the Attack on Titan manga theories. I love that theory. But the real question is, will we ever get the Armin and Annie ship to set sail? Because,
for sure.
Because, we have a reason now for Armin to really start crushing on Annie, because,
Jeez, I keep forgetting.
Like,
it's so crazy to think about Armin as a Titan. It's so... so freaking crazy.
That's one of the... the fact that happened, and that's one of the smallest... crazy things that's happened recently. Yeah. Yep. Because we have time travel now, baby. We have time travel. It's essentially time travel.
It's essentially time travel.
It's basically Steins Gate style time travel.
Yep. Send Dino into the past. And
exactly. Right. So.
Oh my god.
To think. Even though the first episode was titled to you 2,000 years in the future, that could just be talking about, hey, this is 2,000 years in the future.
Yeah, I thought it was...
Whatever.
I literally thought it was Armin was going to be the one who wrote a new history about the story of Eren and saving humanity and all that. And it was basically... Excuse me. It was basically a thing to those that... that are basically humanity having rebooted itself and gone basically the... figured things out, and this is basically the message for them to look back on and realize, hey, learn something from this.
Yeah.
And that just seemed like a very Armin thing to do. But no,
we got time travel in this show.
We got freaking time travel.
In this show that because I feel like time travel is one of those things where it's the sort of
it's scary,
epitome paragon example of where a story has gone into completely crazy territory, right?
Because they kind of run out of some...
Well, because it can get so wonky and scary and it can be done so badly. But the thing is that when you go into that, when you weren't originally about that, that's how you know that it's like gone way crazy. Like this reminds me of the idea of like if you had some like book series that has like 60 books and they're all like linear, whatever, you know, stuff. And at the beginning, it's all like, oh, this is a fun little journey, you know, and then by the end, it's like, okay, so we're in space and, you know, as you know, I'm now a legendary warrior, you know, and like basically all of that. Attack on Titan just did, but the thing is they do it in a way that when I think about it, I don't laugh at it. Like I laugh at the fact of the irony that it happened, but I don't laugh at the actual circumstances itself because they do it in a way that makes you take it seriously.
Because I feel like the power of Isayama's ability to retroactively add context to things that were put into the story early on and actually show a consistency throughout the story to where you don't go, wait, what about inconsistency here? You just go, oh, wait a minute. No, nothing is an inconsistency. He's accounted for everything. Now, are there some narrative conveniences surrounding some of those?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure, totally. But on some level, because we weren't asking those questions to begin with, you can give almost any explanation you want for it. Like the whole thing of, well, what happens if a Titan doesn't make another person eat them? What happens then? Well, we found out what happened there because
eventually someone
wasn't willing to eat another person because... Well, you know...
Or they just, you know...
They just forgot.
Buggered off to somewhere else and didn't care or whatever,
And then it just happened. We avatared this and reincarnated the cycle.
Right. And then the whole thing of like, okay, so...
Oh my gosh.
So Historia is royal blood.
Yes.
Right. Eren has the coordinate ever since he joins the military.
Yep.
So... Well, okay, it's just a good thing that there was never a point where, like, Eren and Historia had to, like, spar together or something like that. And you know, suddenly, you know, crazy stuff happens.
Yeah, that's more something where, like, my question is something along the lines of, you know, questioning why Ymir was so hot and into Historia, because she's a Titan.
Oh, and like if it had something to do with the fact that Historia was royal blood?
Yeah, she knew that on some level.
Yeah, but I think Ymir's not the kind of person to really care about that as much.
Well, I think also Ymir's not necessarily aware of what being royal blood means with regards to Titans.
She just knows that it's important in some way.
Because let's look back on her time.
She didn't even know what it meant, like
when she was a cult, like propped up figure,
or when she turned it back into a human. Like it was just like, okay, I ate somebody I turned back into a human.
Right. In some ways she maybe felt like that. On some level she was touched by the divine. Right. And some kind of special thing had changed her life.
Some crazy path.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But then you have Ymir maybe recognizing this, like she mentioned, the similarities in the way that her and Historia were kind of treated by others and manipulated by others, but also potentially there being a thing of like, well, wait, no, Historia might actually have some things and some answers for me, some specific things that I might have, or at the very least my story might gain some semblance of sanity.
But she's called Historia, not Herstoria.
Yeah, exactly.
But I also, well, and then there's also just the idea that she saw a kindred spirit, someone else.
Yeah, I already mentioned
that.
That they had their similarities there.
Yep. But yeah, Ymir got her off-screen death.
Well, no, I knew she was dead a long time ago. Like,
but it's still, rough.
At the end of season 2, I was like, well, she's dead.
Oh, by the way, this is where we got her backstory normally.
Oh, you had to wait until here.
Yeah, we had to wait until after the Marley reveal in the outside world and everything.
So the letter was given, there was a touch made, and then suddenly it kicked off huge backstory.
Yep.
So instead, we got the abridged version here with the death added in.
Right.
Because we had already been given the other stuff.
So originally...
Okay.
Like,
wow.
That's how much more shocking the reveal of the Marleyans and
Whoa.
humanity outside the walls and everything was, because
Dang.
this was where we got it.
You know what's crazy with that, though, is that means that Studio Wit has been planning their adaptation this far in advance.
Sure.
Not
because,
necessarily
right.
the details,
but like when they did season
strokes.
2, they were planning season 3.
Yes.
Yeah, which makes sense because they didn't want to wait another 4 years.
But that's the thing, is that they were basically prepping it, and on some level, I think that's why season 2 was only a cour. Was they basically saw, we're going to have to change things dramatically in season 3. Let's end things with the whole
with that
coordinate reveal.
Yeah.
Well, the coordinate more so.
Oh, right, yeah, because
used.
that was the highlight.
That was
not
the highlight.
Suzume.
I mean,
yeah.
I know. But now we have our crew. We have them all together.
Yep.
Everyone knows what everyone knows, except that Aaron is leaving specific things out.
In a very subtle way, as Aaron does. Yeah.
Like, here's the problem, y'all. Here's the problem. If our main character is going to start some miscommunication drama...
He needs to up his game.
Like, no, that's a problem for, like, the story.
Oh.
Like, that's a problem for the story. Like,
Oh,
I'm not
boy.
talking about, like, my enjoyment. I'm talking about, like, the kind of things of where, like...
Yeah. When you have a D&D party, and one character decides that they want to start doing their own thing.
Yep. And start taking their belief that they are the main character or something like that.
Complications arise, shall we say.
Yep.
Because people don't like being kept in the dark.
Nope.
Like, this whole show is about how people don't like being kept in the dark.
Nope.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see where this leads, y'all? We end up, like, getting a thing where now we're not only having Aaron and Armin feeling more and more ostracized from the rest of them because they realize their own mortality.
Yep.
But then the reasons why we're fighting start to become different.
Right. It's like,
Like, do
hey,
you realize
hey,
where this leads?
We just dealt with all the internal problems. Now you have to go fight the world. Please don't, make us start like doubting our, main instrument of like actually competing with the outside world.
But like on some level, y'all, this leads towards some actually crazy stuff. Like, if Aaron starts basically becoming like Kruger. Let's look at this a little bit more closely.
Okay.
If Aaron on some level starts to basically have, this is kind of the problem on some level with people having put the burdens of the world basically upon them.
Is that they have to get cold in order to make decisions.
But they get really cold.
Well, at least Aaron won't have to go undercover like Kruger did, so...
Oh, you don't think he will?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, because I have two theories here, and one of them involves him going undercover.
All right.
Okay, here's the thing. Who knows about Aaron? Who knows about Aaron, right? Two people.
Zeke.
I'm talking about
in
Marley.
Marley, yeah. Zeke and Reiner.
Zeke and Reiner. Now, are they going to be like, draw a sketch, Reiner? I cannot draw. Fine, I'll do it. Okay. This is Aaron Yeager. He's the son of Grisha Yeager. He is basically our main number one threat problem and stuff like that, right? Okay. Now, if he, comes over here and stuff like that, we're going to have a bad day.
They take an old picture of Grisha. He looks kind of like this guy.
Yep. Then basically they're like, okay, now let's draw Armin, and Reiner keeps like accidentally like drawing too
Historia,
feminine. Or drawing Historia. That would be hilarious as well. But serious talk here. Serious talk. I'm sorry, I had to meme a little bit.
Yeah.
Serious talk here. Aaron's thing is going to be trying to win over the other Titans. That's the thing. They're Eldians.
Yeah, I mean that definitely seems.
He's their leader essentially.
Although he certainly doesn't have a problem trying to kill Reiner and Zeke.
Well, that's also part of the thing here. I think Reiner is actually going to be on some level actually helpful at some point.
Okay, that would be
Let's think
awesome.
about this here. It's family. Zeke is family. If you want to put it as a thing of where it's Zeke versus Eren, perfect. That's awesome. Who do you throw in the middle of that whole thing? The two dumb blondes. We've got Armin on one side, and we've got Pound Town on the other side.
And just think of the abridges. You've got dumb Reiner, right? You know, and then you've got Armin with his
Crimson
human
King.
Yeah, Crimson King and human experimentation.
Yeah. Okay, but serious talk.
Yeah.
If this doesn't end up being a thing where it's about, you know, mass technological weapons, which I don't think it will be too quickly, I think the real problem is that on some level you're going to have some kind of insurrection, repeat revolution with the Marleyans and the Marleyan warriors, the honorary ones there.
Which would really suck, because then it's like, oh, I guess we can't trust you after all.
Okay. So that's one theory. That's one theory. I think on some level that's going to either be a plot point or that's going to be the plot point.
Well, and at the very least, it could very, even if it's not something that ends up happening, the fear of it happening would probably be very present within the Marleyans, because they want to make sure, okay, you know, we're having all this stuff.
And Zeke's going to be the, don't worry, I've got this under control. But again, I'm going to quickly bring this up before I go to my other theory, which is way more terrifying.
Okay.
And that is that Zeke, we don't know how long he's been a Titan. But the way they talk about him, the way Reiner and Bertolt talked about him, was that they knew he was a Titan long before they left. And they left when they were kids.
Right, they left 5 years ago.
Which means Zeke has been a Titan longer than Eren has at the very least.
Right, yeah. So 5.5 years minimum, basically.
But that's minimum.
Sure. And 13 years maximum.
But that's my thing. The way he looks, and
the beard does a lot.
No, Jacob. No. What was the what? Uri, thank you. Sorry. Uri is the perfect example of why this whole beard nonsense is bullshit. So Uri was
young.
He was young, but he was old.
Right, yeah.
He was on his way out. He was on his last legs of his 13 years. So he gives it up to Frida. It makes perfect sense now. Everything is connected. It all makes sense.
Yeah, it's hard to tell ages in anime, but at the same time, it's like, wait a minute. He was very young, you know, when it showed him getting turned into a Titan. Well, I'm talking about specifics, right?
Right.
You know,
so Zeke, he sounds like a 40-year-old man. He sounds older, and he's supposed to be what, a decade older than Eren? Maybe
a decade older.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so if Eren's 15, he's 25.
Yeah. He's not 25, y'all. He's older.
Hey, maybe that's the voice actor. Yuki Kaji does not sound 15.
I don't care. Even if he's someone that's basically a very older looking 25, 26, 27, whatever year old, the important thing is that we have a mechanic in the story now that super ages, essentially, people that are Titans. Well, and it's not that it ages them, it's just something that
they just end up dying. Yeah.
But there did seem to be this weird thing where Uri was, because of Kenny's story, they showed him when he met Uri.
Right.
And then later, Kenny's like, oh, he looks so frail, and he looks like he's waning.
And here's
makes sense now.
Well, and here's one thing to think about. If Zeke is let's say he's only 3 years further along than Eren, right?
Sure.
Not too much farther, but even if it's a small amount, again, national scale conflict takes a very long time. If he's got only 5 years, whereas Eren has 8, that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, in 3 years, that's something where they're already frantically considering
right. It's this is right around the corner.
Who do we prep for this?
And the part, I know this is kind of a detour thing, but the part with Mikasa where she's just quiet because they dropped the bombshell that only 13 years, so Eren only has 8 years left, and
she's just this is wrong. No, this can't be. No, she's No, like all of her future happy goals and stuff like that just got dashed on the rocks.
Yeah.
Like let's talk about my other theory here. We go cold, y'all. Like, we are trying to end this conflict quickly.
Which side? Both or?
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm talking about our heroes, Jacob.
Oh, okay. The
other theory is that we don't have a lot of time.
Sure.
The other theory is that we need to move and we need to do this quickly. Not just for, our sake, but in some ways for this conflict's sake. It needs to end. And on some level, we can't trust the original king's will, which is within the true carriers of the founding titan.
Right. So they have Eren and Historia being perpetual coital ritual to control all the titans in the walls, and they send them out and...
No, my point is that they basically say, okay, the reason for that is probably because of the uncertainties surrounding the conflict.
Sure.
And who will die and who will lose. Let's end all the uncertainties. Eren starts to basically disassociate, disconnect, starts to have those issues there. They basically are like, all right, we're going to go. We're going to win this. We're going to end this. And we literally get that thing I was predicting where we're like, sup, bitches, kicks in the wall.
It's the reversal.
It's the reversal.
Of now Eren's the...
Oh, yeah.
Well, Armin, more like...
Yeah. And on some level, Eren and Armin together...
They're a pretty badass combo.
Like, let's think about what they've lost here. What Marley has lost. They don't have Annie. They don't have Bertolt.
They've got 5 titans left.
They have... No. No. They have 4 titans that we know of.
Well, and one other
titan. One mystery titan out there.
Right, but it's still... It was established that it's under their control. It's just not one that we as an audience have been introduced to yet.
Yes. They have it under their control. I just don't count it in my mind. But if you think about the titans that they actually have that we know
Reiner,
about,
Zeke, Backpack Titan, and Ymir's Titan.
A Backpack Titan and Ymir's Titan. Those are nothing. What do they do? Oh, I carry stuff and I run on floors like a crab. Ymir's Titan. I jump a little bit.
I climb and
I can get drop kicked by the Colossal Titan and pasted. And then you have to wait some... The only titans that are actually tough for them to deal with are Mystery Titan, which I can't consider a variable yet. The Beast Titan and the Armored Titan. Who's in the Armored Titan?
Reiner.
A confused, broken warrior.
Okay.
Like, unless Reiner has this whole thing where he suddenly solidifies and reestablishes his whole thing there and becomes a real threat again, the Beast Titan is all that's left. And who's got the least amount of time left?
Okay.
The Beast Titan. Okay. This is something where the odds could shift so dramatically if they execute some Armin, Erwin... high 5-head, Hanji 200 IQ level plays that Marley could be on the run in terms of like the overall war.
That's what they should
quickly.
That's what they should do. They should have Armin eat Eren. That way he can get access to all the memories and then Armin can 300 IQ this.
The scary thing, y'all, is that breaks our characters.
Yeah.
That destroys all their humanity. And Mikasa, Armin, Eren, all of their journeys thus far have basically been leading them towards losing little bits of themselves bit by bit.
And that just makes me love the OP from the first half of season 3 even more.
Oh yeah.
Because like thinking back to all those good days when things were peaceful, they were normal, right? And the bonds that they shared and and all that stuff. And even though it's suffocating to fight titans and all that stuff.
This is why I wear this hood. I just don't like even like seeing these kinds of things be discussed. Y'all, can we get a brief shout out of appreciation for how actually amazing the first OP of season 3 was? Like it was actually amazing. In some ways, I think
that's my favorite OP. Like the first one is fantastic. The one in season 2, amazing.
Yeah,
this
my favorite is still the third OP, but I think it's now better than Gurren no Yumiya for me.
Yeah.
the third
As
season.
iconic as Gurren no Yumiya is.
Yeah, it's probably because of recency bias, but
Sure.
I don't really care because on some level, if I had to choose between Gurren no Yomiya and I don't know, Shinso Sasageo, that I think that's basically the name of the OP. Shinso.
I mean, that's
those
all
are
we know
basically
from
the
song anyways.
two OPs that have that same style, and I would just choose the second season's one.
But the third, the fourth one, the one for at the beginning of season 3,
the visuals,
the music,
the moments, everything like that. It's
scene
basically
where Aaron
telling
is-
us what kind of show this is becoming.
Well, especially with the scene where Aaron is facing against the
Yes.
clouds rolling by.
And we don't see his
and
face.
we don't
and then
see his
little
face. He's
kid
not
Aaron-
moving. And little kid Aaron is running past him and smiling at him and tugging at him and trying to get his attention. And then eventually he just gives up and walks on. Just runs off.
But he maintains that innocence because he's not like distraught by looking at whatever
Right.
is on the face.
It's just, okay, I'm going to go now. Yeah.
And we kind of know on some level what that face has to be. It's something along the lines of the face that we saw in the beginning of season 3, which is probably where this season is going to end.
Sure.
Is Aaron looking out at the sea.
Yeah, with slightly longer hair.
With slightly longer hair.
I thought you were going to say it was going to be like that anime, like flat, monotone, like eyes, where they just sort of like get rid of the pupil and the iris and make it one homogeneous, just flat tone.
Yeah, no.
That's Mikasa.
But that also actually reminds me, the whole thing with that first scene in the beginning of season 3 is basically telling us that there will be some time skip because of the hair growth, but hair growth happens really quickly, so it doesn't mean that it's actually going to be that much. I think if anything, they'll do a max 6-month time skip, but it depends on what they're wanting to show as of the result of this time skip, because usually whenever you do that, you basically are telling the readers that, hey, whatever we have to show you right now is more important than what those 6 months of story contained.
Yeah.
So we're just going to rush towards that thing.
Exactly.
And I would say just Aaron seeing the sea isn't enough. It's something that might be like a cool teaser for maybe like a 4th season.
Like the conflict with the whatever their base, the Marleyan base is on Paradise Island, or
basically them showcasing what they have prepped for Marley, having just destroyed and conquered the Marley base. And they're like, all right, we're here. The sea is here, but I can't be happy about it because we're crossing the sea with not the intention to have freedom and see our dreams. We're crossing this ocean. We're crossing the sea and we're going to war.
Oh boy. And this is why I was so dumbfounded and excited when at the beginning of season 3,
I couldn't imagine
with that one first episode. Yeah. And it's like, hold on a second, they just went through like 5 or 6 chapters there. And then the second episode is like,
wow.
Hold on, just 1 minute. Where are we going to end up by the end of this season? Because again, the whole first half was a lot longer in the manga, and like, But oh yeah. So the whole time travel drop that we got this episode. So now you know why I was cackling like a demon when we got the teaser at the end of the first half of season 3, because it wasn't just that they were foreshadowing at things that was going to come later, right? And the whole thing with, Aaron and Mikasa and Levi on the rooftops. The very first way that they started it was with the whole distortion effect, but then with a rewind of the footstep. And then a replaying of it. That right there.
That's all the adaptation, huh?
That's oh yeah, because that whole scene, that whole hinting and stuff. Yep,
Oh,
and that was like orgasmic.
The real demons are the ones involved in this adaptation at Studio Wit. Like they're the ones.
That was so wonderful. It was the perfect way to start it, because at the beginning it's like, what's going on, and then suddenly, and it's just like.
Also, the OP is showcasing a younger Historia at that moment. So in some ways, it's a memory.
Oh, sure.
Essentially...
It's like literally all there, this reveal that happened this episode.
Wow.
But, that was the whole thing with the rooftop and the conflict and stuff. Like, I'm very surprised that you didn't catch that it was Armin that was dead, not Erwin. Since Aaron and Mikasa were so upset. But the thing is that, like, that's all something that theoretically, if you went through the frame by frame stuff, you could figure that out, right?
Possibly,
and it, like, but the thing is,
but I would never have jumped to time travel,
right? But that part there, that was like, because
I don't even know if that was intentional, though.
No, I'm pretty sure that was intentional. Because the thing is, like, in some ways, I was kind of like, oh, I hope they didn't like do too much with that ending scene with like the rest of it, you know. But with that one part, with the rewinding of the footstep, it was just like, oh no, that is so perfect. Like, that's there for the manga fans, and the anime fans will not catch it. Like, there's no way you can catch that, right? Like, but oh man,
so man. A lot of this this storyline in recent stuff, I'm jumping to a completely different thing, has had a lot of like, oh, you know, things that, you know, correlate to the real world, right? Like a lot of things that correlate to that.
Yeah.
I just kind of looked at the timeline of things. So we have the whole, you know, 1,820 years ago, you know, the whole Ymir made the deal and stuff. You know how long ago it was later that we got to this point in the story? Basically the 1940s.
What do you mean?
Well, basically, we're in World War II time. If we were to consider that zero before before Ymir Fritz, you know, like, would be like zero, and this is of course with the whole Western view of looking at things through BC 80 or whatever. But then you could basically like switch things up and basically have this whole thing be the before Ymir Fritz deal. And then we have zero where the deal was made. But then if we take that and then we apply the whole, you know, time frame of, you know, how long ago those specific things happened and stuff, we basically would be at
World War II.
At World War II or
something
like that.
But they established that the other way that I mentioned this in the previous episode, but the way they established that is that if you go 80 or 75 years ago from now, World War II.
But they didn't do.
Because the 100 years, you know, it been inside the walls for 100 years, but then at Grisha's time, it was like 20 years before now, you know, and then, so then if you go back to when the thing was made with the walls and stuff, and the nuclear weapon was threatened, basically, that was
sure, but it still works this way as well.
Yeah.
Like, look, 1820. 120.
Yeah, 1940, yeah.
And then basically, like, however much time happens for this whole rest of the story here. I think the majority of it's going to happen before Eren is dead. But
wait, is it that 1820 plus 120 or 1820 minus 120? Because, like, was it 120 years before? Because if it's 1820 years ago, that would be saying...
Oh, you're right, yeah. Never mind.
But I mean, it
doesn't fit perfectly, actually.
But
yeah, you're right with your.
But
otherwise, I think someone.
Although it's a nice coincidence, like.
My last little thing with regards to my notes here is that something kind of crazy has been kind of percolating in my mind after thinking about some Major Gross's monologue in the episode prior to this one.
Yeah.
Is that basically he lost the line between what is, you know, good and evil, life and death and all that. And basically said, you know, you should live like every day as your last.
Okay. I don't remember Gross saying that, but okay. Oh, live like today is your last. Okay, yeah.
It says, I faced the cruelty of this world and understood it. Faye's death was educational. Losing a son would be hard for me, too. If only you weren't Eldians, you poor things. Now, I'm about to do y'all a mind F here.
Okay.
Major Gross's monologue regarding Eldians. People want to see cruelty. Peace is wonderful, but it isn't enough. This is my own kind of
paraphrase
note taking of it. Okay. The people of paradise want to see cruelty. They want to see war. Peace is wonderful, but it isn't enough. Eren lives like today
is your last.
Today is your last. Eren is, I faced the cruelty of this world and understood it. My mom's death was educational. Losing, my family, losing my people would be hard for me too. But if only you weren't Marleyans, you poor things. And then he basically goes on this thing of talking about how Eldian's true form is Titans, and all they need is spinal fluid from Titans. Eldians must be wiped out. They aren't human. You're murderers, and feel no remorse for the planned destruction of Marley.
Right. Marleyans
must be wiped out. You aren't human. You're murderers and feel no remorse for the horrors that you've done to the Eldians. And the planned destruction of all Eldians.
That line, Eren has basically already said to Reiner and Bertolt, like several times, I think.
Several times. In fact, that whole moment in, what was it, episode 3 or 4, where they actually go on their little walk to the cliffside by the lake, and like, Eren, what's your dream? What's your goal? It's like, I'm going to destroy every last Titan. They kind of have this like, bro, I think you're talking about some, like, you have some words.
Like, should we tell him? No, let him have his dream. he can keep this simple.
I just want to basically look at the way they framed Major Gross's monologue and the way he was staring directly at the camera.
Yeah.
And he's basically saying, like, y'all, you, the audience, if you're not getting what I'm saying right here, you're missing actually the potential thing about why this story is happening.
And that's what's great about his monologue, is that it's not just a monologue to the audience about different portions of groups of people within the story, but also, and we talked about this in the previous episode about humanity and what brings humans to the point where they do those horrific things.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Erwin had a line back in season 3's like first half where he basically said, in order for us to stop fighting, in order for us to stop having conflict, there would need to be only one human being left alive.
Sure.
Now.
And then there's what Picture said in season 1 of the only way humanity will unite is if there's some greater threat.
Yep. So they've been building up to a lot of things with regards to this whole conflict here. But I think they've been seeding the themes of the idea that the cycle of violence is unstoppable.
Oh, boy.
And it's not about good and evil, y'all. It's not about us being right and them being evil. It's not about all this thing there. It's about this whole thing of violence and stuff. This is wrong. And yet, it is the cruel reality of this world.
Well, what's twisted is that there would be a way to stop it.
Well,
you destroy everything else so that only, in a way.
No, so you have everyone but Eren be left alive.
No. What you do is you kill everyone that's not an Eldian.
Nope.
And then if you get someone that can basically be like combine, the founding Titan, royal blood, and all that stuff, then they just rule. And they do whatever they do.
Nope, because that's what happened in Paradise, Jacob. You're not learning the lessons of this world's history. That's the point, is that Paradise happened, and all this, was kept this way. And while Eren is, yes, a foreign element, essentially, because he was brought into this world via the special aspect of Grisha being, someone that came from the outside and gives him the special thing.
Oh, I mean, sure. Yeah, humans will always have conflict with each other. But the point is that Eren is normal. He is not special when he has this desire to break free of the cages, these walls, to basically turn us into cattle. It's important that we separate that Eren had those desires before Grisha told him anything special. Right.
Before Grisha made him into a Titan.
That's why he agreed to tell him.
That's why he agreed to tell him.
Yeah.
Meaning that on some level, you could never rule humanity like that. You could never control humanity like that.
Well,
it would work for a period of time, but eventually it would all cycle back in on itself.
Unless you basically kept it in a perpetual state where you had just Eldians and then the founding Titan was just doing direct puppet whatever. But however that would work.
But do you realize what you're basically like justifying by doing that?
Oh yeah. It's not living for any of them. Yeah.
No, it's
basically is just one person left alive, and they just have a bunch of playthings. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
The point is that
Free will.
paradise is not meant to be a template for the world.
Oh, no.
And that's why they call it paradise. It's a bad joke.
Right.
The joke is that, no, it's not
That's hell.
paradise. That's actually hell. Yeah. And so if we can learn this, if what Attack on Titan is basically telling us is that we shouldn't be seeking paradise.
Which then gives the question of what should we be seeking? Because if that perfect world cannot exist...
No, what we should be seeking is basically some form of understanding of the reality of this world is the way it is. But don't fall into this trap of basically peace is wonderful but isn't enough.
Gotcha.
Take the meat of this from here. Peace is wonderful, and maybe it is enough. Because here's the thing.
But the thing is, it won't ever be enough.
No. It won't be enough for humanity's salvation in any way.
Right, or for humanity as a whole, but for an individual.
Oh, but for an individual, yes. And then, yeah.
Live like today is your last.
Yeah. And enjoy that, and enjoy that peace. And in some ways, if you need to fight, if you need to have the thing that you struggle against, you basically struggle against the cruelty of this world. You don't struggle against others who are also suffering underneath the cruelty of this world.
And do your best to face the cruelty of this world and understand it.
Yep, that's it. That's all we can do. So this has been my TED Talk. On
how they actually slipped a very meaningful speech into one of the most horrible characters' monologues.
Yep. And I think one that people are going to misunderstand.
Right. Because you could definitely just take it as him giving his horrible speech, right? But it's the layers that make writing amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think there's multiple layers to this.
Right.
One of them is that Eren is potentially being set up as the next basically demon of this world.
They said this episode that anyone can be a goddess or a savior or a demon. As long as people believe it.
I feel like that guy in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's right there. You don't understand. It's telling you everything. Attack
on Titan.
Attack on Titan, y'all.
Isn't this show amazing?
This show's fantastic. I can't wait to watch more of it. So,
y'all, one episode left.
There's only one episode in the season left. We know this has to end at the sea, or at the very least, they're gonna dick us with a teaser at the sea.
Right.
But
there might be stuff a little bit after that shot at the sea, maybe.
Oh, I doubt it. I doubt it.
You think that's going to be the last bit?
I don't think they'll give us more than 15 seconds or 20 seconds after that. Yeah. So, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. This was not as long as the previous one there.
But what can we say? This one was a bit more straightforward.
But y'all are mad lads, mad lasses, mad persons. We love you all. And thank you so much for watching the end of this discussion here. I really would love to join you in the comments and stuff, but the manga is still ahead on, and spoiler and things like that. But if you want to be involved in the discussion for things, check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support there gets you access to our private Discord where you can chat with us about the anime or the manga. He is in the manga discussion only kind of stuff there, and you're basically caught up, so you can talk with almost anything in there.
Sometimes they'll be one chapter behind.
Right. Like that, but if you want to be involved with discussion things there with me, go check that out. But yeah, if you want to be involved in story discussion for other things, though, specifically the book Jacob just wrote, though.
Yes, Battle Lines, my sci-fi novel, is out and available for purchase on Amazon. It's a pretty great story. I think you'll be rather impressed, surprised.
That's got some cool inspirations from Attack on Titan.
Oh, definitely. Yes. So enjoy. It's
the best parts. So if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.